This is a cloud cover update for the eclipse on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Don Paul. Welcome to my podcast, Don Paul's Bits of Blather on Weather, Climate, and this time around, the eclipse. Now, I've noted quite a few times on social media that past climatology is not a weather forecast for this April 8th. In fact, climatology is valuable for seeing typical trends averaged out over years and decades for a particular portion of a month in a location. It is not a substitute for a weather forecast based on current data and model and ensemble output. And the good news is that the models being generated from the National Weather Service, the European Center, and the Canadian Center, the models are more optimistic than past climatology and should be taken as having greater weight than past climatology, especially now that I'm recording this on April 4th. The warm front, which is expected to generate some high, possibly middle clouds moving up from the Midwest toward the Northeast, is now being positioned a little farther away from us on Monday morning. And that would probably lessen the amount of cloud cover. And when it reaches us, if it reaches us, there is a fair probability there will be some transparency to the cloud cover. So while conditions may not be ideal, there still will be little likelihood of a solid, dense overcast, which would shut us out from seeing the eclipse with any detail at all. And there's no mechanism evident that could make precipitation or chilly weather. In fact, guidance suggests readings will be in the upper 50s to near 60 around 2 p.m. on Monday in western New York, which is well above average. And one thing I've mentioned in past episodes, that's something to keep in mind if you're going to be in a crowded venue and you or your companions have bee sting allergies, have your EpiPens with you because of potential traffic gridlock. The Erie County EMS director is concerned how quickly a pre-staged EMS team could get to you if anaphylaxis were setting in. That could be critical. So have the EpiPens with you. In the meantime, I can tell you the most optimistic of all the model output continues to be in the last 2 days the European model, which is not an ensemble, it's a single run, but now there have been two consecutive runs showing minimal cloud cover and a dominance of partly to mostly clear skies. Well, there's only one sky, a sky that looks favorable for near optimal viewing. The American GFS model and its ensemble are not as optimistic and are showing cloud cover percentages of 45 to 50% at about 2 p.m. on Monday. But again, this is not likely to be a thick overcast. There is likely to be a mix of partial opacity and transparency, which means you could still see the eclipse. If there's enough cloud cover, you probably would not be able to see any solar prominences during totality around the edge of the sun. But that's not a certainty. If there's really just very thin cirrus cloudiness, just the wispy, feathery clouds, you still probably get a near perfect view. So the overall look for Monday cloud cover during the eclipse is fairly favorable. I don't want to say we're heading toward ideal, but the irony in comparing past climatology to current ongoing data is places like San Antonio in past climatology were the most highly favored. Unfortunately, for the few million people in that metro area, model guidance is suggesting the chance of precipitation and some pretty solid overcast. So San Antonio has gone from climatologically being a most favored location to meteorologically being a least favored location. And another irony is the most favorable location in current model data is northern New England. Burlington, Vermont, Caribou, Maine have the highest probabilities of clear skies on Monday afternoon. So dig that. Now you know if you were paying attention to what I had to say, and you're not obligated. You know why I was emphatic that climatology was a little overly pessimistic. So I'm going to keep you updated here on the podcast, also on my Facebook page, and on Twitter. I refuse to call it X, Twitter, day by day on how we're shaping up with model guidance and how sky cover is looking. Thanks for listening. Please share, please follow, and I'll talk to you very soon.